Come down to seated with your legs extended. Now, I always have my rolled up blanket with me, yeah, which I find works just as good as a bolster. And so it's really handy to just sit on this blanket if you're feeling a little tight down the back of the legs. Otherwise, you're welcome to sit down on the floor, but it's quite a strong stretch to start with. And we're just going to take a few breaths here, just feeling that stretch down through the inside of the groin, down through the back of the legs. And if it's available to you, if you feel like you can, maybe you'd like to take a little stretch forwards. And as you stretch, just notice your breath. Notice the rise and fall of your body as you breathe. Yeah. So as you inhale, there's a little lifting, a little rising. And as you exhale, there's that softening down over the legs. And so let's notice that again. As you inhale, there's that little lifting, a little rising. And as you exhale, there's that softening back down. Yeah, so again, as you inhale, that little lift, that little rise. And as you exhale, soften back down again. And then rising back up, we're going to bring the sole of our left foot in towards our inner right thigh. Now I'm maintaining a little bit of space between my foot and my thigh, and you can do that, or you can, maybe your foot just naturally rests there. But what I want you to have is your pelvis staying pointed towards the front. Yeah, so we're not twisting around just yet. We're going to bring the back of our right hand down onto our right thigh. And then we're just going to slide it down and take a little lean in that direction. And as you lean, maybe you want to glide your left hand across and reach it up and over. Maybe you want to bring your gaze up towards that left arm. So just explore, see how it feels. Grounding down into the sit bones through the left side, reaching up through the left fingers, finding a lovely stretch along the waist, along the rib cage, maybe even across the shoulder. Yeah. And noticing your breath and the way that it changes the pose a little. And staying here for a couple more full breaths. That's it, one more. And then let's rise back up. Touch your hands down on your knees, just notice, how does that feel, was that okay? Now from here I'm going to bring my left foot across and I'm going to rest it on the inside of my thigh. Left hand touching down to the inside of my knee, just twisting out over that extended right leg. And then starting to take a little fold forwards. Now my belly button is drawing towards the inside of my right thigh as I fold. Now again, connecting really deeply with how your body rises and falls as you breathe. Right? As you inhale, feeling that little lift. And as you exhale, softening that down over your legs. Staying here for another couple of breaths, really exploring that. As you inhale, there's a little lift, but there's a twist here, right? Strength through your belly as you twist out over your extended leg. One more time. We're feeling the breath lift us. We're exploring that twist as we extend down over that leg. And then returning back up to seated. Wonderful. We're going to again extend our legs out wide. And we're going to bring the sole of the right foot towards the left hand thigh. Now remember, I've got that little bit of space. You can, if you want, maybe your foot does touch your thigh. We're going to keep our pelvis squared towards the front, right? So hips squared towards the front, that's it. And we're just going to pop the left back of hand down on our thigh. And then can you start to glide it down, feeling that lean across the body, still grounding down through that right sit bone. Sweep that right hand across, up and over, reaching through the fingertips, grounding down into the right sit bone. You're finding that space along the side of your body, and maybe bringing your gaze up towards that right arm. How's your breath? And how's your breath changing the pose? As you inhale, can you find a little length? And as you exhale, can you extend even more? Now, how's that? How does it feel to find extension on both the inhale and the exhale? Wonderful. Let's come back up. We're going to bring the sole of that right foot in towards the inner left thigh. Yeah. Bring that right hand down to rest on your knee. Other hand touches down just behind you. You can still be sitting up on your blanket this whole time, yeah, on your cushion. We're going to take that little twist. My belly button is drawing towards my left inner thigh. That's it. And then from here, we're starting to increase that fold forwards, just if it's there for you. And so on the inhale, we take a little lift. My hands are just creeping down my leg now. We exhale and we twist a little deeper. There's no pulling happening here with my hands, though. They're just gliding down. On the inhale, we open a little. And as you exhale, squeeze and deepen that twist a little. Noticing that all of the stretches, all of the strength. Taking that last breath here. And then rising back up to seated. We're going to bring the soles of our feet together towards our seated butterfly pose. Now, if you can, take hold of your feet. If you can't, don't worry about it. It's all good. Just let your hands rest. And if butterfly pose isn't working for you, if your hips feel sore, your knees feel sore, you remember you're modifying your practice so that it does work for you. Right? You don't need to change your body to work for your practice. You're changing your practice so that it works for you. Now, as you inhale, we float open across the chest a little. And as you exhale, we see if maybe there's some space to fold forwards. Just seeing, how's that feeling for you? As you inhale, a little lift. That's it. And then as you exhale, deepening this fold a little. Let's take one more breath here. And then we're going to continue with our stretching, but we're going to bring it a little higher up the body. So bring your right knee out in front of your body and see if you can step your left foot over the top. Now, if you can't, then have that right leg extended out long, yeah, and your left foot stepping over the top. See if you can get the sole of your foot down onto the ground. It might even help to stack that sit bone up on a blanket. See how you go. So we're taking our twist here, seeing if we can ground down into the sit bones, finding, if you imagine the length of your spine there, your spine is rising up. Now, how does that feel for you? What do you have to do to create that lifting up away from the sit bones? Powerful stretch through the left hip. Yeah, let's maybe increase that a little. We're going to bring that right elbow across to rest on our left knee. Other hand's just going to touch down beside or behind us. Open across your shoulders as you inhale. And as you exhale, take a little squeeze around and twist, bringing your gaze towards your left shoulder. That's it. Notice your breath. Yeah, your breath has an impact on this pose. As you inhale, you need to make some space for that breath. And so you just expand a little, maybe coming out of your twist slightly. But as you exhale, there's some space to twist into, and so you can deepen, you can draw into that twist a little more. Maybe just playing around with that idea. One more breath here. And let's come back around to center. We're going to change our legs. So now our left knee is out in front of the body. Our right foot steps up and over the top. And maybe on the other side you could have the knee bend, but this time you're going to need to extend that left leg out long. Yeah, so if that's you, come into it. Remember, modify your practice. And then you're really going to get benefit from the poses, because you're not taking poses that don't serve you. Okay, once you've settled in, see if you can bring your sit bones down to the floor and imagine that spine rising straight up from the sit bones. And the next movement maybe makes it a little more accessible for you. Maybe it strengthens the stretch a little. We're going to bring our left elbow and rest it on top of our right knee. That's it. We're going to bring the other hand just down behind or beside us. Wonderful. Open across your shoulders as you inhale. Stack up from the sit bones. And as you exhale, take a little twist. Bring your gaze out over your right shoulder or in that direction. And notice the impact that your breath has on your body, on your pose. As you inhale, notice that you float out of the pose a little. And as you exhale, notice that you can squeeze a little deeper. Squeeze a little more deeply into this pose. One more breath here. And then unwinding and coming back down to center. Now from here, we're going to reach our legs out long. Might help to sit up on that blanket, remember. And we're going to take some circles with our feet. Yeah, so we're just going to take some circles, pointing our toes and drawing them back, getting some movement going through your ankles. Clench and unclench your toes as well. That feels really good. As you do it, at the same time, you're getting a really nice little massage of the floor and the back of your heels. So aware of that as well. Not just of the rotation through your joints, but of the pressure of the floor on your feet. Let's roll our feet round the other way. Can you squeeze and release those toes a little more, or does it make you feel a little crampy? Just check in. How does that work for you? And then let's come to stillness with those feet. And can you take a little fold forward over your legs? Is that working for you today? Are those legs quite tight? Check in. How are you feeling? And so as we move from low down at the body, working our way up, taking those twists, taking those movements, really check in. How is each part of the body feeling? How does each part of your body feeling? And how are you going to need to modify for that? Just noticing. And deepening this fold a little more. Imagine the crown of your head. And so that's where your tiara would rest, right? And extend out long. So that you're finding the back of your neck nice and long. And as you find the neck nice and long, maybe you can feel that extension through your spine. And you might find that it creates a little more of a stretch down the back of your legs. Because often there's a temptation to look towards or over your big toe, and that kinks the back of your neck. So let's find that space here. Wonderful. Yeah. Come back up to seated. From seated, come into a cross-legged pose. If cross-legged works for you, keeping on working up the body here, keeping through these stretches. We're going to bring the right arm in front of the body, palm towards the side. And we're going to sweep the left arm underneath, hooking elbow to elbow. Yeah, maybe this is where you stay. Just shine your palms towards the side of the room. And then maybe you can bring the left palm across and hook it to the left fingers across and hook it to the palm of the right hand. Grounding down through the sit bones, rising up. Can you feel that lift of your pelvic floor as you rise? Just lifting up through the body, lengthening your spine, extending your crown a little higher. And yet deepening your connection to the earth. Can you deepen your connection to the ground? Can you really yield down into the ground even as you rise up? And then let's release those hands. We're going to pop those hands down on our knees, and we're just going to take a couple of rolls with the shoulders. How do your shoulders feel today? Are they feeling okay? Let's roll them forwards, just checking in. That's it. Yeah. And then we come through the other side. So now we're bringing the left hand out in front of the body, sweeping the right hand underneath. We're bringing the right fingertips towards the left palm. Maybe you can lift them a little higher. Maybe you can draw them a little further away. But as you do this, just notice if you're tight through your shoulders, sometimes it's going to make you poke your belly out a little or collapse through your low back. Can you lift through your pelvic floor, a little squeezing of the basket of muscles that are in the pelvic, that are in the pelvic floor right now? A little drawing in of your belly button, in and up. Can you have a sense of that rising up through the crown of the head? Maintaining that connection to the earth, even as you extend this connection towards the sky. Wonderful, and then we're going to unwind. Yeah, now this time we're just going to rest our hands down and we're going to turn our gaze, turning it out towards the left, all the way across. How's your neck feeling today? Ooh, adds a nice stretch down through the right shoulder. It does for me. Maybe it does for you as well. Maybe that's just a little too mild to feel it. Let's bring our gaze back to center and over to the other side. Wonderful. And then coming back to center. Now today in our practice, we're going to be connecting towards the sky, so that lengthening that reach, and down towards the earth, yielding down towards the ground. And so as we do that, yielding down towards the ground is connecting down into Papatuanuku, our earth, And that rising up, that energy lifting that we find, it's lifting up towards Ranginui. So we're going to find that connected point in between. Now we are the space in between, but we are lengthening, we are reaching in between. You know, we're the children of both. Okay, so we're going to come on over now to hands and knees. And from hands and knees, we're just going to move our spine in a slightly different direction. We're going to wag our tail from side to side, so really getting a sweeping motion. Can you find a figure of 8 there? So round figure of 8. We're doing circles on one side, back through the middle, and then the other. Now, if that's too challenging, if you're like, I can't find a figure of 8, then that's okay, just do circles, right? Otherwise, a nice figure of 8 with your hips, really generating that movement, feeling that rotation, that rocking through your pelvis. Can you change direction? Again, it's okay if you're like, I didn't realize there was another direction, but maybe you can change direction. Nice little compression, a nice squeezing through the waist here. Let's come back to center. Now we're ready to bring a bit of strength. And so now again, we're grounding down towards Papatuanuku, grounding down through the hands, pressing through the fingers, the palms are connected, the knees are connected, we have that connection to the earth. And at the same time, we're lifting up towards the heavens, towards Ranginui. Let's tuck our toes and press back into downward facing dog. Enjoy that lovely stretch down the back of your legs. And if you want to bend your knees, but if you're really enjoying that stretch and you know that it's not impacting your pose, you know that you've still got that alignment, you've still got that integrity in your down dog, then you can draw your heels towards the floor. Now that maybe for you it feels better to bend your knees because then you have that even pressure down into the hands of the feet. What's working for you today? Now we're going to just create a little bit of strength through our belly. So a little squeezing, a little lifting, toning of your pelvic floor. Can you feel that narrowing? And then lower your knees to hover off the ground. Keep them hovering. If you want to, you can play a little more here. We might want to lift our left leg up behind us as our right knee hovers. And then maybe draw that left knee in towards the left elbow. And then let's pop that left foot back behind us and press back to downward facing dog. Yeah, was that okay? If it wasn't, don't do it. We're going to lower our knees to hover off the ground. We're going to reach that right leg back behind us. Are you still breathing? And then squeezing that right knee towards the outside of the right arm. What a lovely contraction through the waist. Stepping that foot back and back into downward facing dog. Yeah, we'll come through that again, but not just now. We're going to walk our feet towards our hands. We're going to let those wrists release. Take a couple of circles with your wrists. That's it. Can those circles move a little further up your arms? How does it feel to walk out your feet a little? Coming up onto the balls of the feet and then pressing back down through the heels. A little stamping on the spot. And then connect down deeply into the soles of the feet. Let's release and relax our heads, finding the length down your spine. That's it. And breathe. And notice. Does it feel good to take a big inhale through the nose and then sigh out everything? Letting go of your day. Inhale through the nose. Maybe it feels good to sigh out through your mouth. From here, we're going to inhale, come to halfway lift. But from here, we're going to exhale and rise to awkward chair. That's it. Let's stay here for a breath in our chair, grounding down into the soles of the feet. Feet sit bone distance apart. Yeah. Coil your tail down a little. You find that containment through your belly. Wonderful. Let's play a little here. Let's bring our hands into prayer in front of our heart space. Rock the weight into your right foot and see how it feels to squeeze your left knee towards you. Can you straighten that right leg? Can you tip forwards and press that left leg back behind you into warrior three? Yeah, but with your hands in front of your heart space in prayer, right? Let's bring that left foot back behind us into a long lunge. And explore the space down the hip flexor. That length down the left side of your body, even as you press down into your right foot. It's that. Powerful and strong. And then coming back to forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to awkward chair. Stay here for a breath. Coiling that tail under a little. Yeah, that's it. Powerful through the belly. Lift it through your pelvic floor. We're playing a little here, and then we're going to bring our hands down into prayer in front of our heart space. Rock that weight over into the left foot now and hug that right knee towards you. So how does it feel to straighten that left leg? And to tip forwards and press that right leg back behind you into warrior three. Pinch your shoulder blades a little closer if you want to challenge this a little more. Yeah, and then let's lower that right foot back behind us. Sweep those arms if you want. Finding the length down through the right side. Through the hip flexor. Along the length of your body. Oh, how does it feel to take a back bend here? Now, does it feel okay? Does it feel good? And then back down into forward fold. Right foot steps forwards. Sit bone distance apart. Find that release. Let your low back release. Yeah, let your rib cage connect with your thighs or your belly. And let your head soften and relax away. We're going to take that little stomping again, right? So we're going to lift the heels one at a time. Pressing them back down. Now, how does it feel? Does it feel okay to lift the balls of your feet? So you're rocking your weight back on your heel just a little, just a little. We don't want too much pressure back into that little point. And then softening back down into forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. Exhale to awkward chair. Stay here for an inhale. And then exhale, rise to stand. Wonderful. Let's inhale, hands towards the sky. Lift your gaze. Exhale, hands down into the heart space and prayer. Rock your weight into your left foot. We're going to step that right foot back. And now we're in warrior. Rather than that lunge, our right toes are pointing forwards. Left knee just pressing over the left ankle. Find that connection down into the floor. But also, right, we're connected down into the Earth Mother. But we're reaching up towards the heavens, up towards the Sky Father. And in that we have that connection of the feminine and the masculine. And we're sitting here in between, grounding down, connecting, finding all of that energy as it moves through us, right? Finding all of that softness, all of that strength, all of that power, knowing that it sits here within you. How is your breath? Notice your breath. Your breath is a wonderful thing. And then hands extend out wide. We're going to square our sternum towards the side of our mat. Now, and there's this little lengthening of your spine. If you can imagine what your spine's doing, rather than tipping it forwards, we're lifting it up from the tail, but we're still maintaining this connection down towards the feet. Wonderful. Let's spiral forward. So now we're coming to warrior one. Both hands reach towards the front. That's it. Now press down into your left foot. We're going to play around with warrior three, but with our arms extended. If that doesn't work for you, you don't have to take it. Now, how's your balance today? How are you feeling? How's that connection to the floor? And then right foot back down to the ground. We come to stand. Let's inhale, hands towards the sky. Lift the gaze. Exhale, swan dive forwards into forward fold. Inhale, come to halfway lift. And exhale, rise up to awkward chair. Let's stay here for an inhale. Exhale, rise up to stand. That's it. Inhale, sweep your hands towards the sky. Exhale, hands down into prayer in front of your heart space. Rock your weight into your right foot. Step that left foot back. Yeah, so we're grounding down into the soles of our feet, just working that right knee over your ankle. Grounding down through the left foot, but those toes are still pointing forward, so we're not in lunge, right? We're preparing for our warrior. We're finding that wonderful connection down into the earth, towards the earth mother. Finding the rising of our energy, our bones, our alignment towards our sky father. Yeah. You know the story of Papatuanuku and Ranginui. But there's this connection here, this divine connection of the masculine and feminine. So we're embodying that, we're feeling its power and its energy. So let that rise up in you. Let it descend down into you. Find it here. Let's come to our warrior two, sweeping our hands out wide. Yeah, I'm doing a bit of a shadow dance here, aren't I? Squaring our body, our sternum towards the side of our mat, just towards. Right? It's okay if it's not getting all the way there. Not letting my Ganesh arms put you off here. Finding that connection, we're going to sweep that left hand forwards now, and we're coming into our warrior one. That's it. And from warrior one, we're going to explore our warrior three with our arms extended now, but only if it works okay for you. Pressing down into that right foot and seeing if you can float that left leg out behind you into warrior. Really squeeze and connect and strengthen the left glute, so that we're finding that alignment along the leg all the way out along the arms. Strong through your belly. And then hands down beside us, and we're coming to stand at the front of our mat. Inhale, sweep your hands towards the sky, lift your gaze. Exhale, swan dive forwards, back down into forward fold. Let everything release, let everything waterfall down. Stay here for a couple of breaths. And so we have that earth energy rising up, finding the fire in our bellies. Yeah? And then that watery energy that we have is flowing down towards the earth. And again, we find that connection of the masculine and the feminine, all of that power within us. Bend your knees, hands down to the floor. We're going to step back into plank pose. And in your plank pose, connecting with your compassion, right? Being compassionate, lowering your knees down to the floor if you need to. If you find that your plank pose is turning into a little down dog, then chances are you need to put those knees down to the ground. If you find you're collapsing below that, get those knees down. We're going to, on this plank pose, but we are going to come through it again. Yeah, but on this one, we're going to lower slowly down towards the floor. And then we're going to come all the way down. And when you're ready, inhale and lift to cobra. From your cobra, let's stay here for a couple of breaths, finding that connection all the way down into the top of the pubic bone, into the low belly. Do you find that a little more with your exhale? If you needed to, you'd be able to lift your hands off the ground and maintain this pose. You're not pressing into that ground to lift your body, just to tone your arms. Let's soften back towards the floor and come up through hands and knees. Stay here for a minute. Let that pose settle in. Little rock from side to side. Now, our next pose is going to involve a little bit of time for contemplation, for considering. So if you know that child's pose is not a comfortable pose for you, use your blanket to make it comfortable, or take a different pose, right? Lie down on your side, whatever it is. But if child's pose is okay for you, we're going to press back to child's pose with a bit of space between our knees. Rest your forehead down. Is it resting down on the blanket or is it resting down on the floor? Either's fine. Or maybe on your fists. But from here, while you're down in child's pose, notice your breath. As you inhale, feel the breath draw down into your body and expand. And as you exhale, feel your body move and shuffle back into the spaces it was in. Right? So as you inhale, there's this tidal pulling in. And as you exhale, there's that tidal rushing out. But it's conscious and it's controlled. As you inhale, you draw your breath into your body and you feel your pelvic floor even expand. And as you exhale, you'll feel the toning lift of your pelvic floor, and that lifting, that toning moves up your body as you exhale. As you inhale, you draw your breath down into your body, find the expansion. Wonderful. As you exhale, soften and release. Now, keep that breath moving. Keep breathing, even though moving away from the breath instruction now. Notice how you're feeling. How's your body? How are your thoughts? How are you emotionally, spiritually? Just take a moment to notice, to recognize, to explore. If your mind is busy, then every time you find yourself in your thoughts, if you can recognize that, I want you to be aware of it. I want you to watch. I want you to be the silent observer of the thoughts. And as you become the silent observer of your thoughts, recognize that you are not your thoughts. There's something more divine than that. You are that energy, that life force. That energy, that life force that is eternal. And so noticing. As you next inhale, come up to hands and knees. And as you exhale, press back to downward facing dog. You ready to play around with this pose again? Yeah, take it or leave it, remember. But we're going to lower our knees to hover off the ground. We're starting on the other side this time. We're going to reach that right leg back behind us. Left knee still hovering if you can. And then we're going to squeeze that right knee towards the back of the right arm. Maybe you can touch it. And then we're pressing it back and lifting into downward facing dog. Did that feel okay? If it didn't, don't take it. The challenge is all good. Pain, not so much. Let's lower our knees to hover off the ground. Extend your left leg back out behind you. Really squeezing through that glute, right? Nice and powerful. That's it. Squeeze that left knee towards the outside of the left arm. Maybe you can touch it. And then step that foot back. Let's come to downward facing dog. And from down dog, let's create those feet forwards into forward fold again at the front of our mat. How's that breath? Notice it. Yeah, notice it. Now, I'm going to offer you a movement, but I want you to be playful. I want you to encourage that child. Remember your power. Remember that you're abundant. Right? You have nothing to prove here. Now, the pose I'm going to offer you is this one. We take hold of our big toes and we press our big toes down into our two fingers. So there are two options to this pose. So you really know it. What we're going to do is we're going to rock our weight back and forwards and just find that pressure down into the big toe and into the fingers. Yeah, we got that. And then we're going to release our left toe. We're going to press down a little more strongly down into the left foot. Now your option is this. You can either keep hold of your right big toes as you rise up to stand, or you can let it go, come to stand, and then pick up your right knee and hug it towards you. If you're keeping hold of your right toes, you're going to press down into that left foot, and we're going to slowly rise up to stand, keeping hold of those right big toes. Yeah, now, if you let go of those right toes, even if you gave it a shot, but you let them go, what you're going to do is come to stand, and then either take hold of that right knee, or again take hold of those right big toes. Yeah. Now my arm is to the inside of my neck, connecting down into your left foot. Are you ready to play with this a little more? Remember, you are being playful. Forgiving. It's all good, right? We're just having a little bit of play, a little explore. But maybe you can start to extend that leg out and start to reach your left hand the other way. Can we explore the sides of our bodies? Right, maybe you can extend that leg out a little further, maybe not. It's all good. Yeah, so maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. Maybe you're here. All of these poses are exploring the sideways motion of our body. Yeah. So just honor your body, what's working best for you. Let's release those feet back down to the floor. Let's inhale, hands towards the sky. And then exhale, swan boat forwards into forward fold, coming through the other side now. So taking hold of your big toes again, but before we move, we're going to really connect with our breath. We're really going to connect with the earth. The great thing about coming through this for the second time is you know whether or not you want to take it in that manner that I'm offering, or whether you just want to come to stand and explore the sideways movement of your body. Either is good, right? Whichever one works for you is the best for you. But before we move, we're just going to take a little float up towards halfway lift. Maybe you get there, maybe you don't. And a little forward fold, softening back down over your legs. A couple more of those. So the inhale creates a little floating, a little opening. And the exhale, a little softening, a little deepening over the legs. One more time. Inhale, rise up a little. Exhale, soften back down. We're going to let go of our right big toe. We're going to press down into the right foot. Find that connection. Feel the way that engages the muscles up the back of your right leg. Make that decision. You either let go of your toe or you don't. Maybe you want to have a try and let go later. That's all good. Yeah. And maybe we're going to come up to stand, holding onto our left toes and lifting up. Remembering though that it's okay. Rise up to stand and then hug that knee up to you, or if you keep your toes down on the ground. All we're doing here is exploring sideways movement. Okay? So however you do that is up to you as long as it feels okay. Now maybe we can take a little extension and find that sideways motion. Exploring the spaces out to the side. Or maybe it feels a little better for this movement to be slightly smaller. Whatever works for you, but breathe. And then let's release that foot back down to the floor. Give your legs a little shake. Get all of that flesh rocking and rolling around, moving it on your legs. Yeah, can you really get your wobble on? Can you get everything shaking? And can you move that shake a little further up? Can you do a little shimmy? Can you get the flesh shaking around on your arms? Let's get those hands shaking as well. We want you to really shake things up. And now just a gentle movement of your head just to check in, is your jaw soft and relaxed? Find your stillness. Can you feel that really amazing humming vibration under your skin? That's good, right? That's good. All of those pathways are energized, flowing and moving. From here, we're going to take a spinal roll. Check in. Do you feel like this is okay for you? If it doesn't feel okay, we're coming towards forward fold, so get there how you need to. Then have a bit of space between the legs, sit bone distance, even a little more if you want. Hands into prayer in front of your heart space. Just taking a little deep dive, bending your knees. And as you find that little coiling hits about the middle of your back, you bend your knees even more. Yeah, you start to release your hands so that they hang. Keep rolling down, taking a breath at the spaces that feel good, right? Maybe that's a nice big breath as you meet the top of your back. And another nice big breath as you meet the middle back. And then another nice big breath as you feel that expansion across the back of your pelvis. Softening down into this forward fold. And remember I said we'd come through plank twice. So this time as we come through plank, we've got to have the option of coming into upward facing dog if you like. I know I don't offer that option very much, do I? But I'm going to offer it today if you want to take it, because you're really connecting with how you're feeling and you're not pushing into anything that doesn't feel okay for you. You know Cobra, we took it earlier, and so that can be your option if you wish. We're going to bend our knees, press our hands down into the floor. And before you worry about anything else, we're stepping back into the plank pose. And again, check in. You need to pop those knees down on the floor. Does your plank pose just want to coil up into down dog? If it does, bring those knees down. Are your elbows really locking? Bring those knees down. Is your low back sagging? Knees down. Now you can lower all the way down to the floor and then lift up into Cobra. Or you can bend your elbows and see if you can sweep through the hands and come up to the top of the feet and tap the facing dog. Right, and really you can do that if you're able to hover quite strong through the arms. Yeah, if your back feels okay, if it's not too compressive through the sacroiliac joint. And then coming back through hands and knees if you're in Cobra, rolling over the toes if you're in upward facing dog. Yeah, if you come through hands and knees from Cobra, press back now to downward facing dog. Let's walk out our feet. And then slowly lower your knees to the ground. And again, I'm going to give you an option here. Your exhale in the following movement can either be down dog or it can be cow pose. I'll talk you through a little bit more of that soon. We're going to rest back down into our child's pose and connect again with that long, full breath. Once you've got that long, full breath, we're going to come through some movements that we're going to connect with the breath. I'm going to instruct you on the movements, but after a couple of cycles through, I want you to have a go on your own, and so I'm going to stop with the instruction. It's going to be quiet. And you can do that, right? It's 4 movements, but 3 poses. So I'll take you through twice, and then you're going to continue through independently on your own. What I would love, although it might be a little too much to think of at the moment, is for you to start your breath before your movement. And so that's how I'm going to instruct it, right? We're in child's pose, and we inhale, and then we start to move on that inhale to hands and knees. We exhale, and we start to move on the exhale to down dog or into cat pose. We inhale and start to move on that inhale to hands and knees. We exhale and start to move on that exhale into child's pose. That's it. Inhale to hands and knees. See if we can keep it fluid now without too much of the forces. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale to hands and knees. Exhale to child's pose. I'm going to do again with that option for cat. Inhale to hands and knees. Exhale, cat or down dog. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, child's pose. Let me simplify the instructions before I drop them. Hands and knees. Exhale, back. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, back. And take one more of those with those instructions. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, back. Inhale, hands and knees. Exhale, back. Now I'm just moving, and you're moving in time with your breath. And as your next come into hands and knees, stay there. Maintain that full, steady rhythm of breath. And then come down to seated. Like we did at the beginning, let's extend our legs out wide. And maintain that breath. That's it. As you inhale, find length. As you exhale, maybe you can fold forwards between your legs. As you inhale, find length. And as you exhale, fold. As you inhale, length. And again, as you exhale, fold. Now stay here. And however deeper fold you're in, we're staying here for a few more breaths. So just settle in, enjoy the space you're in. Notice all of the sensations that are coming to you. Be present and aware, guided by your breath and by the sensations in your body. Remaining connected to the earth, grounded down into all of the points of the legs that are connected. And still with your breath, you feel that gentle rising and then that softening back down again. One more deep exhale. And then making your way back up to seated. That's it. Yeah. Now we're taking a little fold towards the side. So we're going to bring the left sole of our foot towards our inner thigh, just like we did at the beginning. We're going to bring our left hand to rest on the inside of the knee, right hand down the side. Take that little twist, belly button drawing towards the inner thigh. And then maybe from there you can start to fold forwards over your legs. And these forward folds, keep your toes drawing back towards you. Your foot flexed. And just again explore the breath. And now you've got that the shoreline of your legs to consider, right? So as you inhale, it's like you have that tidal motion of going away from the shoreline of your legs. But as you exhale, you soften and deepen and fold a little further. All the while grounding down into your left sit bone. You find that connection back down towards the earth. As you fold forwards over your leg just as much as you can. Don't hurt yourself. As you inhale, you lift up, remembering that challenge is different than pain. Yeah, sometimes we sit within pain, but we don't often want to. And so let's not put ourselves into painful positions in our yoga practice. I'm just going to stay here for one more breath because we are in a bit of a twist. And then we're coming back up to seated. And then we're going to come across to the other side. So we're going to extend that left leg out long, right side of foot in towards the inner thigh. Remember, our first action is just to rest our right hand down on our right knee and to start to twist that belly button towards your left inner thigh. Notice your breath. Flex your left foot. Stay grounded down into your right sit bone. And maybe as you breathe, you can start to creep your hands forwards along your legs and start to fold. But just wherever your fold is, right? And so maybe you're upright, but just really drop into your body. See how you're feeling. Are you limiting the stretch because of your self-limiting beliefs? Or are you limiting it because of the sensations in your body? And that is good. Yeah. You want to listen to our body. Listen to your body. Listen to what it's telling you. Your energetic levels. Connect with those. Not the chatter. Not the chatter. And it might be that each exhale allows you to soften a little further over the shore of your legs, like a tide releasing. And the inhale is a floating, a lifting, a rising. Rounding down into your right sit bone. Let those left toes flexed. Not here for too long because we are in a twist. Let's float back up to seated. Fantastic. Yeah. We're going to extend our legs out long. We're going to make our way down to the floor. Now, so that you don't disturb your body too much when you come into Shavasana, because you're staying with Shavasana today, now you put something warm and cozy on if you want to. If you're like me and you're using a blanket, you might want that one under the back of your knees when we come down, so you might want another blanket. Tap two. Tap two. Let's roll over onto our sides. Make our way down onto the floor. Now, if it feels okay for you, I'd love you to take reclined butterfly pose so that the soles of the feet are together and your knees rest upright. But if that creates, what I want you to know, if you've ever had sacroiliac pain, often happens in pregnancy, well, sometimes early stages of pregnancy, but sometimes in pregnancy we get that really sharp pinching sensation through the sacroiliac joint, sacrum pain, whatever it is. Know that this is a compressive pose there. Okay, so if you've had that kind of pain, proceed with caution. I know it seems like a really nice simple pose, but it is complex. There's lots of compression happening through the back of the body, opening through the hips. Yeah, so keep that pressure into the soles of your feet. Let those knees soften if it feels okay. Otherwise, your legs extended is all good. Notice your breath. Now, for those of you who are ready to come down into Shavasana already, you are most welcome to hug your knees towards your belly, to take a little rock from side to side and to settle into Shavasana. Otherwise, if you're staying with me here, we're going to really notice the rise and fall of our belly. The gentle tuck of your chin. Soften your shoulders. Notice the way that you're really settling down towards the earth. Let's deepen that. Hug your knees back towards each other. Lift your hips. Rock them back down a little further away, lengthening your spine. And then just draw your knees towards you and give them a little hug. Take a little rock from side to side. Now, if you know you have low back pain, or if you know that it feels better for you, then just pop a rolled up blanket underneath the back of your knees as we come to settle down towards Shavasana. Over here. And just rest those legs down on your blanket and just have your hands down beside you. Cover yourself up with something warm and cozy if you like. Close your eyes. Again, aware of that connection. Aware of that connection down towards the earth. Aware that you occupy that space underneath the sky. You're a part of both. You reside between. And your energy is eternal. And so notice that you can release a little more towards the earth. Your body yields, it softens, it lets go. Close your eyes. Even with your eyes closed, aware of the light that the sky is shining down. Even if that's artificial light, it's still descending down on your body. It's still light. And you're aware of you, as you breathe, of the rise and fall of your body. Maybe you're aware of the sounds around you. Maybe you're aware that you can see those little lights on the other side of your eyelids. But with each breath, draw inwards. You find that even as you draw inwards, your energy expands. And so that as you breathe, maybe you can feel that your energy expands a little wider than your body and then draws back in again. It's a connection, feeling that connection, knowing that you belong here, that you are a child of nature, and everything is just the way it should be, the only way that it could possibly be. So just let go, release, relax, soften. And it's as you soften, it's as you release that you find yourself held. So that you recognize your connection to everything around you. And you're able to soften and relax and release a little more, deepening, deepening into this connection. Surrendering to Shavasana. And then slowly, becoming aware again of your breath. The way your breath moves your body. Generating a little movement. Making your way over onto your side. And pressing yourself up into a seated position. And sitting here in this seated position, whatever position serves you best. And becoming aware again of your connection to the masculine and the feminine, feeling that both of those powers move within you. Feeling that power, knowing you're powerful. There's power and softness, there's power and strength. And how wonderful it was to have you practice with me today. Namaste.